Hi everyone, and welcome to a different type of video today. It's not going to be a time lapse or studio sessions. This video has been really highly requested, so I thought I would take the time today to film one for you guys. And it's about my favorite, or I guess my recommended brushes for oil painting. And I think this video will especially be helpful if you're a beginner and just starting out and not sure what brushes you buy. So I'm going to walk you guys through a few of my essential brushes and basically the shapes and sizes that I think cover all of the different functionalities you'll need to create a painting. Real quick before I begin, I just wanted to remind you that this is the last day of my 20% off sale, so you have about 24 hours to get 20% off your order at happyd-artist.com using the code Valentine. All right, let's get started. And I'm going to be trying to list as many of these brushes as I can, along with links to purchase them. And I'll also be including a few extra more affordable alternatives for those of you interested in starting your first brush collection. Okay, up first we have this brush. It is from Royal & Langnickel and the model name is Royal Majestic, and it is a filbert shape in size 8. So filbert is my favorite shape. As you'll see in this video, I mainly use filberts. The size 8 Royal Majestic is kind of my go-to quintessential brush. I have many versions of these, so the second one becomes too old or frayed, I have another new one waiting in line to use. The reason why I like it so much is because it makes a huge variety of lines. So if you turn the brush on its wide side, it can make a really nice, even, thick stroke, and it's also great for blending and skin tones and backgrounds. And then if you turn it on its thin side, you can make a very nice thin line, and with pressure the line can vary in width. And I just think it's a very versatile, kind of multi-purpose brush. And like I said before, the size, for me at least, works perfectly because I predominantly work in canvas or surface sizes that fit this brush really well. If you tend to use a larger surface for painting, you might want a brush that's bigger, but for me, I predominantly work in size about 8 by 10 all the way up till 16 by 20. That's my kind of go-to surface size, and it's perfect for it. Next up, we have the Pure Red Sable brush in size 3, and it's also a filbert. It is basically a smaller version of the first one. As you can see here, it's a little bit smaller than my nail, and the reason why this size is, I guess, a cozy size for me is I get to work on a lot of the skin details with this, things like the shadows on the nose or along the jawline, or I don't know, like between the eyebrow and the eye. It's a really good brush for the size of portraits and the size of faces that I like to paint. And again, like all filberts, it creates a variety of different strokes depending on which edge you turn the brush. So for me, because I predominantly like to work with portraits, this brush comes really in handy. Here we have the Royal Sable Tech, and it's again a filbert in size 1. Because it's so small, it might be hard to tell that it is a filbert. So as you can see, there's faint variation in width depending on which side I turn the brush on, but basically this one is perfect for little details, whether it be small leaves or blades of grass or any type of foliage. I also like to use it on its thin edge for little hair details like eyebrows, eyelashes, occasionally long strands of hair. So this can also double up as a liner brush, which I'll introduce next, but it's great for any sort of small details on portraits, landscapes, foliage, you name it. So it's a very versatile small detail brush, and again, it is in filbert, so it can create a variety of different widths of strokes, and I just find it incredibly easy to work with, and it's become one of my go-tos. This brush is one of my favorites. It's in Royal & Langnickel's Soft Grip line, and it's a liner brush in size 0. So the Soft Grip, as you can see here, is a nice rubber, almost like a pencil holder, or I forgot what it's called, a pencil grip. It makes those long painting sessions feel really easy on the fingers. And it can be used for similar purposes as the previous brush, which was the Royal Sabletech Filbert in size 1. They're both great for small details, hairs, foliage. I guess the special thing about the liner brush is it can create a slightly longer stroke. So when I'm painting hair or anything that requires like a long continuous wavy line or even a straight line, the liner brush is slightly more suited for it. But to be honest, both of them are great, and if you can only afford one, I feel like only one should be needed. So this one is probably my most interesting brush. A lot of times when I post this brush on social media, people comment on how my brush has broken, but actually it was designed this way. It is the Mini Majestic Tight Spot brush in size 0. This one is perfect for getting those weird angles that sometimes your wrists feel too awkward to be positioned in. So if there are any tough to reach places on your painting, or just any sort of strokes that are difficult to produce with the right arm motions, this crooked neck comes really in handy. And I find that even without the benefit of reaching difficult positions, overall it is a very useful brush for things like leaves or flower petals. They make a beautiful, very natural looking like petal leaf shape. Next up is the Bordeaux brush in size 12, and it's also a filbert. As you can see, compared to the size of my hand, it is quite large. This one I primarily use for filling up big parts of my piece, whether it's the color blocking stage for a huge chunk of sky, or any sort of underpainting, because the bristles are really tough and resilient. It's also great for things like washes or varnishing. I would not recommend this brush for any small detail work, of course, unless you are working with a huge, giant painting surface, in which case this will definitely be small enough to get the granular little details. But for me, this is a perfect brush for the big empty spaces, and it just makes filling up any empty space with a single color very quick and easy. And last but not least is this Bordeaux brush in size 20, and it's a flat shape. It's the only one in my essentials collection that is not a filbert or a liner brush. The flat shape makes it perfect for things like varnishing or any sort of non-painting related tasks. I don't think I've ever used this brush to actually deposit paint onto a surface. I primarily use it for varnishing. I also use it for dusting my paintings before the varnishing goes on. I was going to show you guys this interesting trick. It's great for erasing as well. So I just had dipped this brush in some paint thinner, and I'm basically erasing every little blue paint stroke that I had previously made during this demo. And after this, as long as you wipe it with a dry paper towel and repeat the process a few times, you can actually erase part of your painting. Because of how tough and durable this brush is, I also like to use it to prime my canvases or wood panels. So overall, it's a very great multi-use brush. Alright, I hope you guys found this video useful, and if you liked it, I would really appreciate a thumbs up and maybe even a subscribe. It really helps out my channel. And I hope you guys have an awesome day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!